Hey guys, welcome back to Theology Thursdays, where we answer your questions about God, faith, and culture. And guys, I mean, if you don't know what we're talking about already, I feel like Cody has answered the question here. And we're going to talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Love
and
it.
I mean, we both love it.
Yep.
And so if you
100%.
don't, I'm really confused why you clicked on this video in the first place.
You should go watch it if you haven't.
Yes, you should.
If you've got Disney Plus, they're all on there.
They
So
are.
you should do
And
it.
there's even more greatness that has been added to it.
Yep.
And
The Mandalorian.
yes, my goodness.
Fantastic.
If you haven't, guys, I'm just going to say there's the cutest moment ever of your entire life is going to be in that.
Yeah.
I cried.
But
so.
hashtag not Yoda.
Not Yoda.
Yeah.
Thank
by
you.
the way, I really do love Star Wars. I actually have Vans.
Shoes.
Star
Huh.
Wars Vans.
I'm not
had
that
for
committed to actually
years.
have shoes, but that's good.
Yep.
I'm really glad.
I'll wear these to the movie tonight that I go to see because Rise of the Skywalker comes out tonight.
Dude,
so
it's so
going to
sweet.
see that.
Yeah,
Got
super
tickets.
excited.
Yep,
That's good.
ready to roll.
Oh, man. Well, guys, I mean, pretty much we're saying that we are experts on this topic, and so
Yep.
I think we can answer any questions. So how does this relate to theology? Because I think they're probably wondering that.
Yeah, so it doesn't. No, but it does.
It does.
No, there's a lot.
We just
of,
wanted to
like-
talk about it.
Yeah, this just gives us an opportunity.
Dude,
It's a
just-
platform
yes,
to talk
to
about
talk
Star
about the
Wars,
fact
George
that we love it
Lucas,
this much.
just his-
It's gonna be great.
It's awesome. I've been to the Star Wars land at Disney World.
See, we
already.
haven't yet, but we're
It was awesome.
One
I
day.
rode in the Millennium
day's
Falcon.
gonna come.
If you
My
don't know
gosh.
that's again, look it up. Okay, anyway.
'Kay.
So through the whole through every movie, there is this idea of the main characters wrestling with this dark side and this light side, right? Like they call it the Force. Right, it's just every
Star
being
Wars
has
101.
this force.
ruined for you if you
And-
haven't.
Yeah, and there's this dark side to the Force, and there's this light side to the Force. And the dark side usually creates one they would say you're stronger, but it usually creates just a lot of evil intentions, a lot of very just demonstrative, very destructive kind of feelings with that. And then the light side, of course, you're trying to get rid of this evil in a galaxy that was far, far, far away, right?
Far
A
away.
long, long time ago.
Yes.
And so, right, I think you're a couple major characters, right? If you don't know, Darth Vader,
Yeah.
which we originally saw him in 4, 5, and
So
6.
he would be
yeah.
dark side if you
Yep,
if
Darth Vader.
101.
By the way, that was spoiler. Vader means father. People should have seen that coming a long time ago.
But I mean, that's with all the
Yeah, for sure. But if you go back and watch episodes 1, 2, and 3, which were done in the 90s, not as great as 4, 5, and 6, right? But you see Darth Vader's whole storyline of him coming to be who he is today, right? One, his name is actually Anakin Skywalker.
Again, huge spoilers. I
again.
feel like I should
But
have
if
put
you
that in the
haven't-
title.
if you
but-
haven't seen it by now,
I mean, seriously, it's
you've gotta
20
see it,
plus
right?
years old.
There's a
it's
certain,
too late.
There's an age
'Kay,
gap,
sure.
right? But he showed as a young kid with a lot of promise to be this Jedi Knight, to use the Force for good and all these things. But then he begins to wrestle with this dark side of the Force, right? And so he ultimately succumbs to the dark side, and that's where we have one of the greatest villains of all time written into the story of cinematic, right? It's Darth Vader. He gave himself over to the dark side, but all at the same time he had this option to come to the light side. And then you have his son, Luke Skywalker, who is basically the opposite of who he is, and he decides, I'm going to go on this path and I'm going to choose the light side. But here's the thing about their characters that's really interesting is that they share a lot of commonalities and the common traits is that they both struggled with the decision, should I use the light side or should I go to the dark side of the Force, right? And so how I would think about this in our world today is that we all are tempted by sin, and we all have a choice to follow God, right? I've always, you ever remember watching Bugs Bunny when you were little, Looney Tunes and
Yes.
all these kind of things. But you
things to
remember
do.
when they would have an angel on one side
And the little devil
and
on the
a
other
little
side,
devil
yep.
on the other side. Even though that's a funny representation, I think that's really true of
Super
how
real.
we process things in our mind, right?
Yeah.
How we process spiritual things or what we're going to do. You have something that's going, no, you should do what makes you happy, and you should do, right? The enemy's throwing that to us. And then we have this side over here is you should choose this because ultimately this would be better for you. This would be your greatest joy if you choose these things. So really, to me, it all boiled down to a choice for Luke Skywalker, and it all boiled down to a choice for Darth Vader. Which side do you want to land on? And God, in his sovereignty, right, has also given us free will to decide that. Like that's one of my favorite things about God. He doesn't choose for us. He presents the choice to us, and then we have the option going, God, I'm going to follow you with all my heart, or I'm going to choose to do what I want to do. Right. And so I think, like, if you watch all of Star Wars, even the new ones that are coming out, right, like The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker coming out tonight, like, even Rey, she struggles with this, and Kylo Ren, he's struggling with these things too. So it's a common narrative and a common thread all throughout Star Wars. But even so, like, I think that's why we relate to it as well. Is like, sure, it's an awesome movie just to watch, but we relate to it at the same time, going, man, what kind of life do I want to live? What side of the train track am I going to walk? Right? So I don't know. If we want to bring in theology, that's how I would bring that into Star Wars, because it really does show that with humanity and how we deal with those things.
Right. So I think, again, like, we can see ourselves in it because we've all felt that pull of both ways, and, like, again, our choices do make who we are. And so I think a lot of, even, like, this generation sees this like, okay, no, like, this is just how it is. But no, we actually do get to choose. So let's choose. Let's make choices that, again, reflect who the Lord is and what He's done. So
absolutely
awesome.
Cool.
Well, guys, we love Star Wars.
Love
so
it.
we just want to put that out on the table.
Also,
say Merry Christmas next week.
Did you also know that there was a Star Wars Christmas episode that came out in 1978, but the Star Wars world tried to get rid of it because it was so bad?
It was that bad?
It was that bad. Yeah.
So we just don't talk about it?
We don't talk about it. But interesting fact for you.
Fun fact for you. Guys, Merry Christmas again. Make sure you leave comments below, like this video, get the notifications, because you want to know when we have new ones. So, guys, again, Merry Christmas. Have a nice time. We'll see you next week.